Hello, good morning, and welcome back. I'm going to be completely honest, I do not know how this is all going to edit together. All of this is coming out once the costume is completely finished. This is all top secret until San Diego Comic-Con. So, hi future everyone, how was San Diego Comic-Con? Was it fun? Was it a blast? Did I do good? Right now it is the middle of June. I have actually been working on this for about a month now, actually almost exactly a month, which is kind of crazy. I assume you have already seen my explanation video of how we got here. Yeah, that was super cool and everything, so thanks for that. But now we are going to get into the meat and potatoes. Yeah, the making. First things first, I think, we're probably gonna start with the bodice, because when do we not start with the bodice? So please enjoy all of this old footage, and I hope this all edits together well.
Starting off with these shorts, for this pattern, I knew that I was going to be able to use some old patterns that I had already made. So I did start by going through these, and I was specifically looking for my Harley Quinn roller derby costume. Because of the way that I know this bodysuit fits me and the way that these shorts are hemmed, I knew it was going to be absolutely perfect for these shorts. It was going to be exactly what I wanted with minor modifications, and that was literally perfect. So I did trace these to start out with, and then I went back in and then just marked out a few inches above the waist because I knew I wanted it to have a really tall waist. I'll be using a knit for these, so I am only using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, except for the waist where I am going to put in a waistband. For the bodice, I started out with my basic princess seam slopers, and I just traced those onto paper, starting with the front sides and lining those up to have a map. I did also draw myself out this little map of exactly what the pattern pieces were going to look like, just so I knew exactly what I was going for, especially with the neckline. To start on that neckline, I did just draw out some basic marks, kind of as guidelines, and then I measured how far down from the armhole I put that guideline, and I marked it onto the side front before transferring that down into the armpit. I did go back through and refine these lines a few times until I was very happy with them. I also made sure to line these up with the middle notch on my sloper because that is the bust point, and I knew I didn't want to go down further than that. I then separated the pattern pieces, leaving enough room for seam allowance before folding them and walking them so that I could get a very accurate hem matchup for this weird hem that I have designed. When I'm drawing in this waist hem, I am being careful to note where the waist is as well as where that hip notch is. I'm trying to be very aware of how far down I am actually taking this. I know I want a very dramatic pointed look on the side, but I don't know exactly how far down I want it. I'm also being aware that it is easier to take away fabric in my fitting than it is to add fabric. Before I move on to the back and do the exact same thing, I do just make sure that everything fits and walks nicely. To finish off this hem design, I did just line everything up and pin it together before going in and drawing in that really exaggerated point. For this mock-up, I did include the seam allowance on the top and bottom for the lining, so I am being considerate of that. The only fit I really had to do was at the center front seam, and I basically just had to take it in a little bit at the top because of some gaping. I am just pinching and pinning that, and then putting in one final marker of basically where I want it to taper off at the very end because I couldn't get a pin in there with how little fabric there was. Once it's all pinned, I did go in and draw on one half of it and just mark exactly where that was before then going in and adjusting what our hem looks like because it was a little too long for my taste. It was giving tailcoat and not in the way that I'd originally planned. Once I had made all of the adjustments I needed to, I took it off of the dress form and redrew all of those lines in a darker pen. I then separated this down the center front to keep one side exactly the same as the original and to update the other side. I then lined it up with the pattern and used my tracing wheel to transfer these new seam lines onto the paper patterns. I did this one at a time without unpicking it just because it was mostly the hem that needed updated. Once I had finished updating the pattern, I went back onto my sample with all of the new lines on it and I marked the waistline to all of it. I'm using the waistline to draw on the design for each of the sections for this pattern. To start drawing these designs on, I did trim off this excess from the hem, and then I wanted to line it up exactly on the princess seam and the waist, so I found that measurement and drew that along the hem. I know I want to keep this exact angle if I can, so I folded it across the waistline and then traced out the start of it with my tracing wheel before going back in and just flipping it and tracing the entire thing onto the back. I have to get this first line right because it'll be the guide for the angle for the rest of these pattern pieces. So once I had that done, I just kept the same measurement across the board and I measured out on either side exactly that same thing and just created all these cute lines. It got really awkward around the bust, but I didn't want to do this on paper or on the dress form just in case it gave me a slightly different angle or whatever. I also know I'm going to be refitting this so I can change it later. I did that all the way to the center front and got exactly the angle I was hoping for on the center front before continuing with the long V's on the back. My original design did have a waist seam through these, but I was trying my best to eliminate that seam to get a really seamless view. Get it? Seamless? Okay, moving on. Once I had all of these initial lines drawn on, I took it to the dress form and I just pinned the center front together to get a full view of it before I then went in with a pink colored pencil for an initial run and then a red one later of adjusting these lines and just making them less awkward because some of them were really curvy and awkward. So I'm just cleaning up the aesthetic even if it's not the perfect measurement here because it's more about design than measurement for this. Once I was happy with it, I went in with a black pen just so that I knew exactly which line I was going for. And then I repeated the process on the back because it was really awkward and I did just kind of gradually taper these further back except for that first one so that we got a really nice crisp line with that bottom row. And then to get a pattern for each of these, I did just drape with another scrap piece of muslin and I traced each individual piece by itself, leaving a little gap in between so that there wouldn't be any weird connections. I didn't want any warping just because I was trying to get two pieces in one go. Doing these across the waist was really hard, especially since I was trying to use one big piece of fabric. If I had clipped into this, it would have been much better and easier, but it was fine, it worked out. Now to trace them onto paper, classic tracing wheel, tracing all of the lines, and then going back in with a ruler and a pencil and straightening those up, making them look nicer before adding my seam allowance. And like I said, this sample did have the seam allowance already on the neckline and hem, so I am accounting for that. And I'm giving myself a little extra where they connect, so that just in case I need a little bit of extra fabric and I don't get a perfect lineup every time, I have some wiggle room. Because each piece is separate, I want to have that wiggle room just so you don't see anything underneath it or any awkward seam lines at all.
So I don't know if this is like a flex or not. I also don't know if I mentioned this in the info video, but I know I have a ton of fabrics that are black and red, and that is my colors, obviously. So I think instead of going to a fabric store, we are going to go shop my stash, but I really want I really want to go shopping right now. So I think we're gonna just go pretend like we actually are shopping. We're gonna go shop the stash, but I just have a really funny joke in mind, so enjoy this. I'm gonna have to take my light downstairs, I've just realized, because it's so dark in there. And an extension cord. Oh my god, this is gonna be so extra, but I think it's gonna be so funny. Oh my god. This light is a lot. I forgot to adjust it. But I got my shopping bag, and here we are at the store, so let's just, okay. I didn't really think about the fact that I was gonna be down. Okay, we'll start here, actually. Well, this is great. There's lots of black and red on top here. I don't actually know what I want for the skirt, so we'll take this. So we'll start with this, and then we'll find the rest. Oh, found it. Here's the red. Oh gosh, I have so much of this. What did I buy this for? Red. Ta-da! Yay! Not spending any money so far. And that. I don't need that. Pleather? This is my favorite pleather. I don't think you can even buy it anymore. I don't think so. I don't think this is a pleather look. I have bridal satin somewhere, and that is what I want. One bin down. I don't even think we need to pull this one or this one down. This one's got red and black on top, so interfacing, grabbing this for surezies. Black cotton, maybe for the lining? That could be nice. This is just some more red scraps. You know what, maybe we'll cut out of scraps instead of the big piece. Red power mesh. No. Ooh, this is just a whole bunch of black chiffon. Sure, we'll take this. Like I said, I don't know what I want the skirt to be. White mesh, no. We could just go, oh no wait, this is window tint. I was gonna make a joke about going full PVC, but this is literally window tint. Why is it in here? Wait, is this window tint? I genuinely don't know what this is. I'm going to put it back. It could be a sample that I got from somewhere. I don't know. Not a pleather look. I have so many fabrics that I genuinely am like, what did I buy bright purple gauze for? I probably bought this in like 2019, 2020, maybe even before then. Genuinely, no idea what this is from. Okay, I think we're done in here. Let's go with this one that we started with. Red tulle. I want to pull it, I want to use it, but it's not in my design, so putting it back. Oh, here we go. Here's all that red bridal satin that I'm gonna need. Here's some more, just a small piece of red spandex. Here's a smaller piece of red bridal satin. Okay, now I just need black. More red, more red. What are you? Oh, here's the PVC. This is like Injustice, Harley. That's not what we're going for. Okay, this is lining. I don't think so. Oh, using this would be so good, but I fear I don't have enough for this skirt, because I was gonna say this could be so good for this skirt with having like, you know, but then like maybe occasionally if the light hits it right, you get a little bit of red. Oh, I wish I had more of this. Maybe I'll pull it and see what I can do, see how much of this I have, because That could be so good. I'm only pulling for one project. I don't need to pull for anything else. Okay, this is more spandex. We'll just put that all together. I really should organize these. I should get organized. If this is, it is, okay. Okay, I think this one is also done. Oh goodness, that means we have to move our bag. Okay, we just need black satin. Oh my god, I have so much black velvet. Velvet? No. I am not seeing anything in here. These used to be organized by type, but sadly they are not anymore. Did I look in this one? Ooh. Okay, black tulle. I will pull just in case it works for the skirt. Oh, this is so cute. Oh, I wish I had more of this. This would be so cute for the skirt. Oh, this is so sad. You can see where I cut out my square pattern pieces. This is so sad. Oh my god, I wish I could make this work. Maybe I can make like a hair piece out of this. I'm gonna put it back for now though. Ooh, more red satin and our black satin. Okay, wait, what's going on here? Okay, I want this one. Black lining material, may as well. I guess that was it. See, I knew I had red PVC to match the black PVC. We could have just gone full PVC. Oh my god, what a vibe. The shorts, just like, yeah, I'm good actually. Sequins, anyone? More velvet. Okay, I think that's actually it. Oh my goodness, I'm sweating now. Woo. Okay, I have a whole big old bag of fabric and I'm throwing it on the floor, but I didn't even have to spend any money. Yay! Oh god. Okay, let's get out of here before this keeps happening. Okay, we have our pattern, we've done our fittings, and we found our fabric. So, da-da-da-da! This video is over! I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so with that, we can now move on to our final garments. Yay! So, stay tuned, I suppose. I'm really excited, got a lot to do. I'm ready to move, I'm ready to groove. Let's get it going. This is the weirdest outro I've ever done, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's because it's been months since I actually finished the material. Anyways, that's it, folks. Thanks for being here. I will see you in the next one. Bye! This was weird. This was so weird. I don't know what's going on right now.